Have a bite of this, Kamal. I think our canteen decided to show some mercy on us today with delicious food. I heard Gyrish calling, and I looked up from my book, only to glare at him. No. I shouted, and I didn't care about the other students staring at me. I just shook my head and tried to go back to my studying while my three friends laughed among themselves. I gripped my book so hard I wanted to strangle all of them. But I took a deep breath to calm down. Why are you shouting at him, Kamal? Pallavi asked. Sitting down at our table, ask them, Pallavi. I replied, keeping my voice even. It's just that we ordered this specially today. For a special reason, David explained. But he didn't really explain anything. That's just how he is. He thinks he's made a point. But he always leaves out the most important part, turning everything into a joke at his expense. But today, it seems like I'm the butt of the joke. Today, his fiancée had the same breakfast. According to his mom, Rakesh explained bluntly. So, today was the day of the week when your mom calls you and gives you a live feed of that girl's life? Pallavi asked, chuckling. You too, Pallavi? I asked her, my face still a blank mask. Come on. It's fun to talk about. It's not like you're actually going to marry her. You don't want this madness. You've been saying that for the past year since I met you. She replied with a smile. And for the past 8 years since we met him. Gyrish added, grinning, right? I don't want this madness, and I'll do everything to stop it. I said, nodding as I started to pack my books. We're getting late for our class. They all nodded, and we got up and started walking to our lecture hall. Later that day, we met up at our usual spot before heading back to the hostel. Today was so tiring, guys. Rakesh said, why don't we go to a bar? Gyrish suggested. I nodded, and we waited for David. Why is he running towards us? I asked, watching David sprint like he was being chased by a dog. We all decided to go to a bar since it's the weekend. Rakesh said, ignoring David who was trying to catch his breath. Sure. But we need to wait for a few minutes. David said, pushing Rakesh and Gyrish away from me and putting some distance between us. For what? I asked, frowning. It's time. That's all he said. I frowned even harder, not understanding what he meant. Rakesh and Gyrish suddenly said in unison. I turned around and saw a girl walking towards me with a small smile. Hi, Kamal. She said, waving. She introduced herself. Yes, I asked, folding my arms. I really like you. She replied, immediately looking down shyly. I sighed, rubbing my forehead. I took a deep breath and said, I need to let you know something. She nodded eagerly, looking at me like I was a professor and she was a student preparing for a major exam. The thing is, my parents are amazing, and their best friends are our neighbors. So, when our neighbors had a daughter, they wanted more than just friendship between our families. I started, and she nodded along. After a few years, when we became sort of friends, our marriage was fixed. It's supposed to happen after she finishes her graduation, no matter what. Her face paled. I really don't want to go through with this. I mean, I don't even know her. I moved to the city for school when I was young. This is just madness, right? It's completely abnormal. I asked her, and she immediately nodded, a small smile returning to her face. But I will get out of this. I'll choose someone on my own, with my mom's blessing. I said, and she suddenly grinned. So, you like me too? She asked hopefully. I sighed and shook my head. No, as you can see, I have so much to deal with before I can even think about someone else. I think it would be best if you forget me, and I try to get out of this mess. I replied. She reluctantly nodded and started to back away. And don't tell this to anyone. I quickly added as she turned to leave. I look over at my friends. They were covering their mouths, trying not to laugh. What's the count? Gyrish finally asked, bursting into laughter. I forgot. Rakesh said, shaking his head. What, guys? Should I have just said yes to her without solving all this mess? I asked, walking over to them. No. But a simple no would have been enough. David replied, smiling. I just want to make them understand. I said with a shrug. Like you've been doing with every girl who proposes to you for the past few years. Rakesh asked. I frowned but nodded. Let's just go. I have a new problem on my mind. I said, walking towards our bikes. What is it? Gyrish asked, following me. Today was her last exam. I replied. They all broke into another round of laughter as we headed to the bar. Later, I was leaning back on the small bed in my room, my legs stretched out on the floor. You know, I really miss my dad. I mumbled. It's been a few years, right? Gyrish asked, petting my hand gently. I wish I was there to stop it. I replied, closing my eyes. It was just an accident, Kamal. No one could have done anything. Rakesh said, and I felt his hand on mine too. I just wish my mom would come here and stay with me. I mumbled, taking a deep breath. You'll finish your post-graduation in a month, and then you'll get a job at a great hospital, since you're already doing an internship. Then you can bring her here with you. Gyrish suggested, just like he always does. Yes. I need to do that. And get her away from that girl. I mean, why does my mom only talk about her? Is that girl threatening my mom or something? I asked, frowning to myself. Ask her next week when she calls. Rakesh said. I nodded, slowly drifting off to sleep right there. I don't want to meet that girl at all. I will be out of this mess soon. She is not my fiancée, and she will never be.